These developments were hugely significant because they showed what aircraft could become. The ensuing First World War would take these hints and turn them into reality at extraordinary speed. When conflict broke out in 1914, most countries possessed only small aviation units. Their tasks were simple and cautious: reconnaissance, artillery spotting, keeping an eye on troop movements. But combat experience changed everything. It soon became clear that having the ability to see from above could shape battles. Very quickly, improvised machines were replaced by purpose-built fighters and then bombers. The German Fokker Eindecker introduced a synchronized machine gun that could fire through the propeller arc, transforming air combat and forcing rivals to catch up. Allied governments responded with immense procurement programs. Factories expanded and new manufacturers emerged. In Britain, firms like Sopwith and the Royal Aircraft Factory grew very rapidly, while in France, SPAD and Nieuport gained reputations for the speed and agility of their aircraft. Germany, too, invested in its Fokker and other designs. Aviation was no longer an experiment. It was becoming an industry. Meanwhile, pilot training also changed just as dramatically. The small pre-war flying schools gave way to formal programs that taught navigation, formation flying, gunnery, and cooperation with ground forces. Pilots were no longer lone pioneers. They became members of structured air services with clearly defined roles. By 1916, aircraft diversity had exploded. Bombers, fighters, reconnaissance craft, and specialist machines appeared on every front. Engine power grew quickly, allowing higher altitudes and longer ranges. Airframes were strengthened, multi-engine bombers entered service, and for the first, but not the last time, strategic bombing emerged as a military tactic as nations began to imagine the terrifying and devastating impact air power could achieve. One curious outcome of the war was the surplus it created. Thousands of aircraft, trained pilots, engines, and factories now existed. They would soon spill into the civilian world and shape the next phase of flight. The Curtiss JN-4, known as Jenny, that had been used to train American pilots, gave barnstorming air demonstrations and made flight a familiar sight to ordinary people after the war. Public demonstrations and bold press coverage played their part. People saw pilots as heroes and aircraft as symbols of progress. The wartime necessity had turned the aeroplane from a delicate machine into something nations now depended upon. What had once been a fragile experiment was now a fully industrialized endeavor. Speed, range, reliability, and organization all moved forward together, and the stage was set for commercial aviation to emerge. When the guns fell silent in 1918, the world was left with an unexpected inheritance.